Okay, welcome to Juju's Journey. My name is Juju. That's my nickname. My grandchildren call me Juju. My late husband called me Juju. I was nicknamed Juju by a very dear friend, like my best friend's son when he was a toddler, probably 33, 34 years ago. And it stuck. So some of my best friends call me Juju throughout the year, and then my husband. And then that particular little boy passed away when he was, I think he was 15, could have been 16, but boy, did I love him. And so whenever I went to become a grandmom, that's the only name I could think of to be called. And so I called her and made sure it was okay with her. And she was ecstatic. She said that meant a lot to her. I said, well, he named me Juju, and I want to continue to be Juju if that's okay. So that's why my name is Juju. This channel is about me trying to find joy. I lost my husband 1 year ago on December 11th, 2024. And today is December 23rd, 2025. So it's been 1 year, and now I'm trying to find joy to live the rest of my life the best that I can and be happy. And so today was a wonderful day. I had a very hard time in November, and I know it's because the end of the year was coming up, and it just, you know how it hits. But the wild thing about it is, I mean, I really did slump into a depression. Like, I didn't make my bed. I didn't wash my sheets for almost a month. I did not want to go out of my house, although I had to some. I mean, I was definitely going down. But then I had gotten out of the habit of doing my morning devotion, which I jumped into when my husband passed away. That's what got me through it. And I'm not a very religious person. I'm a Christian, but I have never been the person that was so obedient that I did morning devotion every day. But I did that every single day when my husband passed away. And I went away for the weekend and didn't take my devotion because I thought I was going to be too busy. And then when I came back, whenever I would drink my coffee, I started watching my little show that I pretty much watch every day on YouTube. 3 days of not doing devotion completely got me out of my little routine. And so then I made a list of how I was going to try to get, like, okay, here are your symptoms. What are you going to do? You know, like me not wanting to go out of my house. Well, Juju, take a shower, get dressed, and go somewhere. You can't stay at home. You know, I was invited to go do something, and I said, no, I'm not going. No, make yourself go. That's what I was, you know, like, do not. Even if you don't feel like it, make yourself go. You'll feel better once you go. So that was how I was going to counteract that. And then, okay, what are you going to do? You need to go wash your sheets and make your bed every day. If you don't do anything else, at least you can say your bed's made. So I did that. And so every day I've been trying, you know, of course, like yesterday I didn't go anywhere. That's fine. You can have a day off every now and again. But every day I'm trying to get out and do something. Not spend money. I mean, of course it's December, but every day I'm trying to do something. And, you know, and do it, you know, with a happy heart instead of like pulling teeth. And then as far as being angry, because I was feeling a lot of anger. And so I said, well, devotion, I need to get back to devotion. And then just being so negative, like I wouldn't want to be around me. So I said, okay, devotion, that's what you have to do to get rid of that. Just things like that. And so I got back into devotion, and I'm telling you, there's no way in the world except for God. Because and usually when I do devotion, I do 4 devotionals. And I always start out with this cute little book. I got it from Ollie's. And so if I didn't do devotion for a month, it doesn't have a date. And so I have a bookmark. So I would just start on where I left off, right? Well, that particular devotion, whenever I started, was talking to me. It was like God already knew this was going to happen, so he waited. I don't know, it's just so weird. But so many things have been like that. You just couldn't make it up if you tried. So honestly, you do have a relationship with God whenever you do devotion. The right Bible verse, the right message will come to you at the right time, and you'll see it. It's quite amazing. So I did. I turned around a little bit. I had a rough day. I think it was yesterday. But I shook myself out of it, and I did okay. And I think that was probably on Sunday. And then yesterday was a wonderful day. My daughter's birthday. And I spent the whole day with her and my granddaughter. We had so much fun. Well, she's out of work this week, so she woke up this morning and called and said, would you like to go have lunch at our little favorite place? And I said, yeah. So we got dressed and went there, and then we went and did some errands. I bought me some new tennis shoes, because what I'm doing right now is trying to get everything I need to be successful. You know, I put on my little list I was going to start walking again, because I was doing good until that wedding, and then we kind of stopped. And the weather's been bad, but I have a treadmill. But I decided to get some new tennis shoes, and the ones that I wanted, they didn't have, but I chose these. They're cute. Cute little walking shoes. So I have new walking shoes for the new year. I'm trying to get things to set me up for success. So if I'm going to start, because I decided I needed to focus on things to set myself up for joy. And so the things that I'm going to set myself up for is in this book. Things that I'm going to focus on in 2026. Business, that has to do with, I have an eBay store, and I can do pretty good with eBay. I don't need to, I have money to pay my bills. eBay, my goal for eBay is to maybe help pay for a vacation, you know, things like that. But I also have some other little things that can be side hustles. My financials, I need to save for, I need to budget. I did the zero-based budget last year, and it was awesome. Absolutely awesome. Every dollar that comes in to me has a job. But I haven't done it. I decided November that I wasn't going to do it the rest of November or December. Next year, I will definitely stay on my budget for those 2 months. You know, because I can see myself slipping. When you run that debit card, and see, I use cash. I put cash in my cash wallet, and that buys my groceries. Everything I've used cash, except for my bills. You know, they're drafted. And maybe for gas in my car, because I'm not going to go in. But, you know, I do have a budget for gas, so I keep it in my, you know, my checking account. But yeah, and then one of my focus points is going to be on giving. This year I want to give more of myself. I want to give to organizations, and when I say that, that's going to be more or less like it's going to be for like our soup kitchen. It's going to be for our food pantry, things like that. I would like to give to the fire department because they adopted 100 families this year in my community that they bought for. We adopted 2 children through DSS. That's Department of Social Services. So, and then I want to do, in giving, I want to do random acts of kindness, things like that. Personal, that means if I find somebody that I, not somebody that I know personally, I don't have to know them personally, but I will have to know, one of my personal friends will have to know them and know that they're really in need. You know, maybe they had a house fire and they need clothes, or maybe they lost their husband and they can't pay their electric bill. You know, that's personal. I want to be able to give to people like that, you know. Also in giving, I want to adopt another family for next year, so I'll be saving for that throughout the year. And then I want to volunteer. I've got to figure out, I'll probably get my feet wet in several places, but definitely. But one of my focal points is on myself. And so I plan to start reading, doing things that give me joy. I haven't read a book in over a year. I haven't even watched a movie in over a year because I can't think. I was too much in a rut. And I used to read all the time. So when I say setting myself up for success, I bought a floor reading lamp for my bedroom, for my bed, because I have one of the beds that I can hit the remote control, my head comes up and can raise my feet. But whenever I raise my head up to get to the point where I can read a book, my lamp is way behind me on my end table. So I haven't been able to read in bed before I go to sleep because I can't, you can't see. And then you'll have to get out of the bed, turn off the overhead light, like I just was not reading in bed. So that lamp came in. So I did buy that. That's setting myself up for success. I need to do a lot of stuff around my house to make it more in a way to bring me joy. You know, I'm not really cooking. I'm not really cooking. I am not cooking. And I have 52 cabinets in my kitchen, and they're jam-packed. My husband was a kitchen gadget person. And so I would like to clean out some of my cabinets and put things in it that make me happy. Like I love making this, I got on the sourdough bread kick, but I love making soap. I love making candles. I love making little tinctures. All of these things. And I would like to really just have a whole little area in my kitchen so I can do that instead of having to store it in other places. So I want to make the home that my husband and I had together more conducive for me, because the reality is he's not here. So I don't need all the grilling supplies, and I don't need certain things. So those I can give to my children because I eat with them anyway. So, and then I can make my own cabinet with all my little oils and essential oils and all of that kind of stuff. And so I'm going to focus more on myself, things that bring me joy and bring me happy. And so, you know, since he's passed away, I'm in my kitchen sitting at my table, drinking coffee and watching television, or playing a game and watching television there. I have not gone and sat in my den and watched television on the massive television. The most comfortable couch ever is down. Oh my gosh. It's the best couch we've ever purchased. I have not gone in there and watched a movie. I have not enjoyed that. I mean, I'm in my bedroom. That's where I watch television. If I decide to watch anything throughout the day, then it's in the kitchen. Or either I'm upstairs, which is my old bedroom, and I'm working on something. And that's it. I'm not enjoying my house at all. To the point that I didn't even take Christmas down last year after he died. And I was going to take it down. That was what I was going to do for Christmas this year. And instead of putting it away, I decided I was going to go through and decide what I wanted to keep and then let my children get it. And then they can put it away. I don't need to put it away twice. I mean, after 6 months of it being up because I couldn't go touch it, I said, bump it, I'll just leave it up until Christmas. What's the point of taking it down in July, right? But I still haven't gone in there. Christmas was my husband's favorite. He loved everything Christmas. And I am still stopped up. I must be allergic to something. But everybody is kind of sick with this cough. But I feel like I have been stopped up since the summer. So I think I'm allergies and the crud, if that's what you want to call it. But I'm going to focus on myself. And I'm going to get back to exercising and doing things like that. And I haven't planned. I know I already have a beach trip planned for January. It's just going to be a quick weekend. We'll leave on Friday and come back on a Sunday. The beach is only an hour and a half away from where I live. And that's going to be my adventure. So I am going to focus on doing small little excursions, making memories with my friends and my family. And then my next focus is on my friends and family. I'm very close with my immediate family. But when I say friends, these are the friends that you have that will check in on each other, but that doesn't mean they're like I have a friend from high school. I mean, actually, probably since kindergarten. She, like, when her mother died, I was probably the first person that called her, and vice versa. She was one of the first people when she found out my husband passed away to call. I haven't seen her in person. She only lives 20 minutes away. But periodically this past year, she's texted me or called to check in. I haven't called and checked in on her at all this past year. Only because I've been in my slump, of course, with that dark cloud over my head. I've got to pay it back. I mean, I've got to check on my friends. I'm not the only person with problems, right? So I've got to be a better friend, you know? So I'm going to focus on building back some of those relationships that I have not put any effort into this past year. And that's sad. I should have done better. But I'm going to do better. That's going to be one of my focuses. Because although I love my children and we have so much fun together, I mean, we really have fun together. They can't be my only source of entertainment, you know? Anyway, that's just the way it is. But the only thing I had on my list, this channel is going to keep me, it's like, I started the channel to kind of watch me grow, I guess, because this is the first time I've lived by myself since, gosh, I was 22, and now I'm 57. And I really didn't live by myself then either. I kind of moved out of my, I went off to college, but I had roommates, and then came home from college and had a roommate, and then moved in with my husband. He wasn't my husband then. I don't know. I've I don't think I've ever really ever lived alone. This is the first time. But I started in January using the envelope stuffing, where you take your budget. I live on a very tight budget of $3,000 a month. Think that's wonderful, y'all. I am not complaining. And it's not Social Security. I'm not old enough to get that yet. And of course, I lost my husband's Social Security. And my little financial advisor, I get an allowance every month from my husband's retirement. And there's a big process, when that happens. You have to roll it over to my name. I think we have 7 to 10 years, but it's all going to get taxed. And of course, I could go through, you can go through money, especially this day and time. We didn't have that much saved. If I don't listen to the financial advisor, I probably would not have any money left over in a couple of years if I didn't let him take care of it. But I have learned so much in this past year. I always took care of my husband and I's finances anyway. But he's always taken care of me, and he's still taking care of me. I mean, I've taught preschool. The day I found out I was pregnant with my son, I was working for my best friend, the one that her son named me Gigi. And I did the pregnancy test actually at her office. We did it together. And basically, when I found out I was pregnant, I quit my job. I said, I'm not going to get paid enough money to have do daycare. And my husband works shift work, 7 days a week, 3 different shifts in a month. And I said, and if I'm working 9 to 5, I will never see him. My child will be in daycare. All of my money will go straight to daycare with it won't be worth it. Like, financially, it wasn't worth working. And so I was a stay-at-home mom until I was asked to teach preschool. And I loved it. I got to take my children with me until they got to grade school. But then I only worked from 8:30 to 12:30 every day, had their holidays off, and had summers off. And that was volunteer work with a punch is what I called it. So that was our play money. That's like, we have 5 children, so we never had money. We were always on a tight budget. I mean, we didn't go on a lot of vacations or anything like that. But play money was for sports, activities, things like that with the children. And so that's what my money did. So, and plus we have 4 girls and 1 boy. And you know how expensive girls are. But wonderful kids. Wonderful kids we raised. But yeah, I'm very fortunate. But I went on, when my husband retired, I did look into this process. But he couldn't understand, he didn't want to do it. Because I would say, like, if he wanted to go buy, you know what I'm talking about. And I'd say, okay, well, you have an allowance each week. And I think I was giving us $50 a week to spend on whatever we wanted. And he would say, so I have to save up for, I don't know like 6, however many weeks it would be to get to the number before I can get what I want. And I'd say, yeah. He said, well, what if I just go ahead and buy it right now and then wait 6 weeks before I buy something else? I said, if you could do that, but the funny thing is you won't do it. You'll end up buying something else next week. But no, I didn't put, I let him get what he wanted. He decided he wanted, when we first started dating, he had a Nissan 240. And then whenever, I would say about 4 years before he died, he got, it's a Nissan. I don't even know what it was, a 3-something. But it was a convertible 2-seater. Would fly. He got that little car and he loved it. And I inherited my aunt's, who was like my mom, her convertible Mustang, which of course had the back seat in it. And so we had 2 sports cars. He loved his little car. He said he wanted to be buried in it. Of course, that didn't happen. But I had to sell it. I sold my car and his car because I'm not going to ride around in convertibles all by myself. I got a little Nissan Rogue. Little tiny SUV. Perfect for me. Great on gas. Normally, I mean, I did buy it new, but I didn't have to pay for it. I basically traded both of those vehicles in, and I got money back. So I just didn't make sense to pay insurance and taxes on 2 sports cars when I would never put my grandchildren in a convertible and go anywhere, because if I got in a wreck, that would be horrible. So it just didn't make sense. And our pickup, the pickup truck I gave to my son. So, and we used to have a really good family car, but it was stolen. That's a long story for another day. That was crazy. I mean, literally crazy. But, anyway, so I'm really planning. I'm buying things, doing everything I can to set me up for a very good, joyful 2026. And it's going to be here in what, a week? In 2 days? My throat is so scratchy. So I bought more vellum envelopes. They'll be here before the new year. I bought more ledger sheets. I'm going to start over from 0. But yeah, I'm going to hop off in a little bit and try to get everything going. You know, I've got my calendar for next year. I've got everything that I need. All I have to do now is get a good book to start. I mean, I want one that's going to really be so good, because, like I said, I'm having a hard time focusing on movies or books or things like that. My mind goes into crazy places right now. But I'm going to try really hard to stay focused and get my joy back. Do things with friends, do things with family, do things in the community. Keep up my devotion, work on myself, and try to live the best life I can. So if y'all have any ideas, let me know. Please leave a comment. I did receive the sweetest comment on a video. I think it was the one I did on Sunday. And thank you so much if you watched this. That really touched my heart. And you had said something about a group. Had I checked that out? And I responded back to you. Where do I find that group? It was for, I guess it was a grief group. So, anyway, if you could let me know, I would appreciate how to find out. That might be something good I need to do. I didn't do any grief counseling. Just with my best friend who lost her son, and if she got through it, I know I can get through it too. I can't even imagine that. But, anyway, it's Christmas. We're going to have a good Christmas. Today was a wonderful day. Spent the whole day with my family. Ate a good lunch, ate a good dessert. Helped get organized to get ready for all the festivities. I'll get to help put out Christmas. Tomorrow night I'll be Santa. I get to watch the little ones run in and get their Santa. Just next door. I won't get to see my other two. I'll get to FaceTime though. And then spend the whole day on Christmas. And then on the 26th, I've got to turn around and have a birthday party for my other daughter. We were crazy. We have, our anniversary was on the 13th of December, and then we had a baby on the 22nd of December, a baby on the 26th of December. And then we had 5 children that we had to do Santa for. We had fun, though. I will tell you that. We had so much fun. I do not know. My kids said we did pretty good. Thank God we live in the house we lived in, though, because I said when I drove up in the driveway, I didn't like this house. It's a box and a box and a box in a box. It's 3,000 square feet, but every room, like my den has 3 doors in it. You know, I can close off every single room in my house. Every single room. So it's like you walk out of one box and you walk into another box and you walk into another box. Like I can even close off my hallway. You know? I can close off my steps, the bottom of my step to the top. Got a door at the bottom and a door at the top. It's just crazy. Like there are so many doors in this house, which is a good thing. If somebody breaks in, they're not going to be able to figure out which door someone's behind. It's like The Price is Right. Like, I'll take door number 1, please. But thank God for all those doors, because we would have Christmas cheer on Christmas Eve, and our music, you know, it gets louder and louder the more cheerful you are. And my husband, I would buy Christmas, and then he would get off of work finally, you know, right before Christmas. And then we would go shopping, and he would buy Christmas again. So they would have double Christmas. I had to learn to not buy ahead of time. But he would come home with, like if you went to a game room and paid money, he would actually buy the real game room stuff, like a full-size air hockey machine or just crazy stuff. And then, you know, of course, we'd wait until our children went to sleep. And then when you have one that's 6 years older than the little one, you know, when you've got to, I don't know, when they get a little bit older, you know, they're really not going to go to sleep like you used to tell them to. And then you're trying to lug, and then the older kids had their boyfriends over. They were, you know, so they would help us lug in all this stuff and put it together. And we would literally stay up until 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning getting stockings stuffed. The best stockings. Ugh. The best stockings. But we would work so hard. So hard. But we'd get it done, and then a little bit of sleep. Of course, you'd have that headache because you had too much cheer. But we'd be up at, you know, right time they woke us up and downstairs grinning and happy that they were excited for Christmas. Anyway, it was a lot of fun. But I get to do that with my granddaughter. And we'll have some Christmas cheer on Christmas Eve. And then we'll have a little bit of Christmas cheer on Christmas Day. And then we'll have, is tomorrow Christmas Eve? Tomorrow is Christmas Eve. And then, of course, we're going to turn around and have a birthday party for my daughter who's turning 30. And so we're probably going to have a little bit of Christmas cheer on that day, too. And it'll be okay. It only comes once a year, right? So anyway, I'm going to, I may or may not make a little post on my update, but I'm just letting everybody know I'm feeling good, except I'm stopped up. But I don't feel bad, and I'm happy. I'm going to have a joyful Christmas, and I want you guys to have a joyful Christmas. And if you're going through anything, please turn it over to God. Talk to your friends. Leave a comment. I'll pray for you. I want you to continue to pray for me. I'm getting more stopped up the longer I sit here. It's like my whole nose is stopped up. But y'all have a very Merry Christmas. Please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and leave a comment. And y'all have a very Merry Christmas, and I will talk to you later. And I'm going to leave you with my favorite Bible verse. May the Lord bless you and protect you. May the Lord smile down on you and may the Lord smile down on you and be gracious to you, and may the Lord show you his favor and give you his peace. And that is Numbers 6:24 through 26. Bye.